How did you pull this out of your hat? We are going to break it down. I'm gonna give you my thoughts, you guys. So let's dive into this quick clip showing us what they have, and then I'm gonna stop it, give you my thoughts. We'll break the timeline down. Let's get into it.
Significant progress connecting him to the attack. So let's go through the evidence that police have publicly said they have. We have now learned that Mangione had a notebook on him where he allegedly wrote about targeting a CEO. That notebook is separate from the 3-page manifesto where he claimed he was working alone. Then there's Mangione's fingerprints. Police say that fingerprints taken in Pennsylvania match fingerprints that were found at the crime scene in New York. Then there's the gun that was found on him in Pennsylvania. That, according to police, matches 3 shell casings that were also discovered at the scene. Then there's the fake ID. This was reportedly used at a hostel in New York before the shooting, and it was found on him when he was arrested by police in Pennsylvania. And police say clothing that they obtained from Mangione is also consistent with what the shooter was wearing. Social media posts from a Reddit account.
Okay, let's start with that. Let's start with this right here. This is a lot. Okay, we know he was in possession, what they say, of a notebook and, of course, his handwritten documents. Now, listen, I've seen the manifesto online. Okay, it's not a scanned copy of the actual evidence. It is a typed up, okay, document that they posted. So I don't know why they did that instead of just photocopying what they have and, showing us online. So I don't know how accurate that is, but I did read it. I'll go over it with you guys probably in this video or maybe another video. But really, I want to really touch on some of this evidence. To be honest, the manifesto is not saying anything incriminating, okay, at all. Just to be clear, nothing about the manifesto is incriminating. I don't know about the notebook. Okay, they made statements about stuff in the notebook saying that he was talking about, using different type of devices, i.e. like explosive device and things like that. So I don't know. We have not been able to verify that on our ends, okay? Let's talk about the fingerprint. Okay, allegedly they found a fingerprint on the actual water bottle, okay? On the water bottle. I have an issue with that. It's not easy to pull prints off of plastic, okay? If you have a print on plastic, you gotta really be greasy, oily, dirty, and intentional to have your print on that water bottle, okay? So that's different. Initially, I thought they were going to use maybe the saliva, maybe get the DNA from around the top of the bottle. That to me would have probably been more realistic, and that would have sold me, I think. But I've pulled prints, and again, I don't have what the FBI has. Okay, we didn't have what New York, I'm sure New York has a very amazing forensic team. Again, in Atlanta, here in Georgia, I was pulling prints myself. I'm good at pulling prints. All right, I was part of the Burglary Task Force, you guys. I was pulling prints all day. Shoes, fingers, toes, anything that was left behind, I'm printing and pulling. Okay, so I know how difficult it is to pull prints off of glass, okay, off of a car. And you're telling me you pull prints off of a water bottle that's plastic? I'm looking at you with the side eye, okay? I'm looking at, but again, I know they might have some different technology. They might have something different that I'm not aware of. I'm old school with the dust and the brush. All right, dust and the brush and the tape. I'm lifting prints. So I don't know what they used, okay? They may have used something digital that I'm not aware of. All right, so I just want to put that caveat, and I'm going to tell you why I have an issue with that evidence. Next is the gun, okay? This is a ghost gun, and I'm going to be honest, you guys, I'm not familiar with ghost guns. I've never came encounter with a ghost gun on the streets. They weren't even really a big popular thing when I was policing and investigating, guys. I didn't see any of them through my 13 years. They were a thing. We heard of them. I never came across them. Never had to investigate a case with them. So I don't really know all the intricacies of the ghost gun. I know that they're not traceable, right? And then of course, I know that the 3D printed guns, that's a whole nother level, okay? It's a fake gun that's not traceable. So I don't know the details as to how they are connecting this gun to him. But the statement that they've been making online is that they connect the shell casings at the scene to the shell casings that were in the gun that they found on Luigi. I have some questions about that because I myself don't understand how they're connecting the dots on that, because two things. If they're connecting the shell casings, that means the gun was already fired. Okay, the gun was already fired. The shell casing ejects out the gun, it lands on the ground. You guys, every time you fire the gun, on a gun that's a real gun made and manufactured, when the bullet goes to the barrel, there are grooves inside the barrel are actually cutting into the bullet. Okay, that's how you match bullets to the barrels. I don't know how a ghost gun barrel is. All right, so this is why I'm saying I really don't have knowledge towards that aspect to really be able to give you good insight on that. So with that being said, that's how it's supposed to work. That's how bullets are ID'd to a gun that was fired. Okay, that's how they're traced back. So I don't know if that works the same with the ghost gun. But on a shell casing, you can match a shell casing with other shell casings, because when the firing pin strikes the shell casing, you guys, there is what they call like a micro impression, right? Or micro imprinting. There is a way that the gun actually, in so many ways, marks the shell, okay? And so you can match those together and be like, okay, this belonged to this gun because this pattern that's been engraved on here matches the other shell casings. Okay, that is a thing. You know, these guns are designed to leave evidence behind, leave trace evidence behind, so that you can actually investigate anything suspicious or questionable, right? The question is, though, the bullet in the shell casing is only marked when it's fired, okay? So with that being said, how do they match the shell casings at the scene of the crime to unspent shell casings inside the actual gun that was acquired when they arrested Luigi? So I already don't know the mechanics of a ghost gun, so it's very hard for me to conceptualize how they're putting this together. Essentially, my idea of the ghost gun is it's not traceable. It's designed away so that they can get away with some things, okay? So I don't know how they're connecting the shell casing. So if anybody knows, might have knowledge in that area, please, put in the comment section. I'd be curious, and I'm probably going to do some more research on that. But I'll show you what it looks like in this video. I'll put up a picture so you can see what it looks like when you are actually doing forensics on a bullet, and what those things look like, what we look for, how the gun actually prints its, or we would say makes markings on these things so that we can identify where they came from. All right, so that's one of my biggest questions. So again, here's the other issues. People keep saying they recovered evidence at the crime scene. You guys, the fingerprints, there are no fingerprints that I know of that are at the actual crime scene. They found articles such as the candy bar wrapper, or I don't know if it's a candy bar, but the granola bar, whatever the hell he had, okay? He had some food that was wrapped up. They found that, and they found the water bottle, okay? These are the evidence. These are the physical evidence that they found that they are tying directly to him. Those things are not at the crime scene, okay? Let's be clear, they're not at the crime scene. The ID, they have the fake ID, the link to the fake ID. If you watch my warrant affidavit breakdown, you'll see how they connected that, okay? And then they have what they claim to be similar outfits. That's not going to be as strong, but again, one piece of evidence doesn't stand on its own, okay? The totality of the evidence paints the picture whether or not the suspect is the suspect, okay? So you can't look at it as this one's weaker than this one. They all act in unison to form like Voltron for the conviction, okay? So look at it like that. When you be like, they're talking about his clothes, they're talking about his eyebrows. You guys, it's all little bits and pieces that build for the bigger finale, all right? Okay, what else? And then we're gonna break down, and then we're gonna look through this timeline, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts as why I think this is crazy, all right?
Account appearing to belong to Mangione suggests he was suffering from serious health issues. The 26-year-old writing in part, quote, "It is absolutely brutal to have such a life-halting issue, especially since the issue itself wears down the critical/logical thinking mind you'd usually use to tackle it. The people around you probably won't understand your symptoms. They certainly don't for me." We have so much to get to tonight, including those threats to other executives.
Okay, so basically, they wanted to put that out there because they're trying to paint the narrative, right? They're already trying to say this is his motive. They're trying to formulate a motive. Listen, the media is nasty, man. They're nasty. Not only do they report inaccurate information, they never get held accountable for it, right? That's what makes the media so dangerous, you guys. They report bad information and they don't walk it back, and they're never held accountable. So they keep doing it. So we got to get into the timeline. We got to break down where he went step by step, the time that they're looking at. We need to see what the suspect was doing. And I'm going to tell you the issues they're going to have in this case, you guys. This is big. Now, granted, I'm not saying they don't have compelling evidence. They do. But I could see where the counter arguments are going to be. Okay? So let's dive into that. What are the counter arguments going to be? And when I walk you through this, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, this next clip is going to walk us through the city. We're going to see exactly where everything is, where the actual physical evidence was collected. What is the best evidence? What is the worst evidence? You have a seasoned attorney. He's going to tear this apart. You put me up there as an expert witness for law enforcement investigation, I'm going to tear it apart. All right, so let's look at this next piece here. They're going to walk us through this. And then I'm so curious to get you guys' thoughts, because you guys are spot on in the comment section. Some of y'all are showing me and pointing stuff out to me. So this is going to be good for all of us to kind of work on. At this point, you guys are my junior investigators. So I want y'all to take this information and build off of it. All right. All right, let's get to it.
Now have evidence linking Luigi Mangione to the scene of the CEO murder in Midtown, and they are working on getting him back to New York now.
Yes, they are. Dick Brennan is here now with more on the legal back and forth that's ahead. Dick.
Well, Christina Maurice, Mangione's attorney said he'll plead not guilty and is fighting his extradition to New York, but prosecutors will be waiting with a mountain of evidence against him that has begun to pour in, and a charge of second-degree murder. Tonight, Luigi Mangione is locked up in this prison outside of Altoona, Pennsylvania. This on the day the NYPD announced a forensic breakthrough, saying they've connected him to the location where United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was murdered. They say they matched a gun on him to shell casings at the scene, and a fingerprint match collected on a water bottle in a Kind bar near a Starbucks where the suspect was seen on surveillance video about a half hour before Thompson was killed outside the Hilton. The NYPD also says they found a cell phone in an alley near the hotel with a fingerprint that also matches, but evidence still has to be processed.
Okay. They went through that really quick. Let's rewind it back. Let me walk you through it, and I'm going to give you my thoughts. You may have missed it.
The scene, and a fingerprint match collected on a water bottle in a Kind bar near a Starbucks where the suspect was seen on surveillance video about a half hour.
Okay, this is the area where they found the water bottle and apparently the Kind bar. I don't know if they found it inside the Starbucks. If you're looking at his picture over here on the left side of the screen, this is him approximately 30 minutes before the shooting. He went and got something to drink, and then he got something to eat. What they are saying is, after he discarded those items, he discarded the bottle, he discarded the actual Kind bar, the fingerprints, there's fingerprints on the wrapper, and then there's fingerprints on the plastic bottle. You guys, listen, again, I've pulled plenty of prints on all type of surfaces. One thing that's a challenge is some plastic. Depending on what this bottle looks like, okay, I want to know what type of bottle this is. I want to know the shape of the bottle. These are questions that I'm asking as someone who's hired. If they hired me on the team, this is what I'm asking, okay? I want to know what kind of bottle it is. I want to know the temperature of the bottle. I want to know the bottle design, the grooves. I want to know where the plastic is. I want to know where they found the print, okay? I want to match that print with the size of my client's hands, okay? That's another thing. You guys, this is how you break this stuff down. You have to be up here. You have to really be critical. You got to be, hey, listen, when my client grips the bottle, the print is here versus here, right? But when you see him on video drinking, he's drinking from the bottom. When you see him drinking, you see he has gloves on. Like, you're looking at all these things. Everything has to be examined. Everything has to be examined. The question then is, okay, did he throw this bottle in the trash? I want to see what has been the chain of custody of this evidence. Who found it? Is there video surveillance of who found it? I want the cameras of that same location for 24 hours. I want to see the first person who picked it up. I want to confirm that person on the paperwork, on the actual connection of the chain of custody of evidence. Okay, because if you put officer so-and-so picked it up, and then, but you got detective so-and-so picking it up, you guys, you're messing up the chain. That can be argued in court. That could be a big deal. I want to see how everything has folded. Just like you got cameras of him dropping off this stuff, I need to see everybody who went by there, touched the stuff. Because if you go in there, you got people tampering around things, guess what? You can bring in the question that, hey, I don't know, this evidence looks like it's been tampered with, okay? The question is, you bring in an expert and say, hey, how easy is it to actually get your print on a plastic bottle? What type of secretions, what type of scenario do you need to, okay, what are those substances? Did you test the substance? There's so many questions, you guys. So many questions that you can ask to really start challenging this evidence. Let's not even get on a candy bar. Yes, you could probably pull prints off of a candy bar wrapper. What does it look like? If he's eating stuff and he got chocolate goo and all that kind of stuff, yeah, you can easily transfer your print. But when they initially came out about the water bottle, they said it was a partial print. They said it was a partial print. It was smudged. If this is a smudged print on the water bottle, that's a problem. You guys, yes, our prints are unique to us, but you need the whole print and nothing but the print, because you can actually match other people with partial prints. So you got to be careful. This is why the attorney said, hey, listen, I need to see the evidence. I need to challenge the evidence. This is what he's talking about. Because it looks like the state has an amazing mountain of evidence until you look at it, until you put the right eyes on it, okay? Everything looks good until the right eyes get on it, okay? You put my eyes on the evidence, I'm gonna break it down, okay? I'm gonna break it down because when you have a prosecution team that's desperate and anxious and pressured, they are going to cut corners. They're gonna cut corners, and if you cut the wrong corner, you get cut out the game. You can lose your whole case playing around with evidence. It'll get thrown out. We call it the fruit of the poisonous tree. Okay? You take a bite of that thing, everything after that is gone. Okay, so I'm looking at the wrapper. Is it possible to get prints? Yeah, if he's sloppy, licking his fingers, and you got chocolate goo, I don't know what, he had a kind bar. Okay, a kind bar, yeah, stuff gets sticky. You can get your print on stuff. The stuff from the bar could have transferred over to the bottle. That's real, that's a thing. Okay, looking out, but it's a smudge print. Did he try to wipe the bottle off? Do you have video footage of him wiping the bottle off? Like, I have all these questions. But here's the issue I have with the bottle. This is the issue I have with the bottle. I'm gonna show you. Let's take a look at the bottle, and you let me know. Again, like I said, this crime was planned with a level of sophistication and IQ that's next level. Yet, the evidence was so purposely planted that it brings into question a lot of things. This is what I mean by that. I'm going to take you to Exhibit B, the location of the bottle, and apparently the wrapper. It seems like they're both located in the same place. My question is, was it in the trash? Right? Did you find this in the trash can? And if you did, that's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. I need to see surveillance on that trash can. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is the actual surveillance footage that they were able to identify where he discarded the bottle and maybe apparently the kind bar wrapper, okay? It's possible, based on what they showed us before, that this is the actual location of the shooter discarding the evidence or placing it in this location. Let's take a look. Did the police find that? Or do they know that's where it was? Right? This looks like it was purposely left there. Again, you know, my problem with this whole case is that this isn't by accident, right? Like, they said he was sloppy. This isn't sloppy. This is intentional. He also purposely sprinkled at the scene what? Delay, deny, defend. Okay? He did that on purpose. People said, oh, he's sloppy. He should have used a revolver. Because if you use a revolver, guess what? When you fire it, the shells stay inside the wheel of the gun. They don't eject. That's why you see a lot of assassins, they'll have like a revolver type of weapon because they don't have to pick up the shells. But he left shells there. Okay? He left shells there. And he had enough time to pick them up if he wanted to. Then he's walking over here after he eats and drinks, and by the trash, he doesn't dig into the trash bag or anything. He plants it right there. I say plant. You could say place, but he plants it right there, right by the camera. Right in front of the camera. What else did he do?
Video about a half hour before Thompson was killed outside the Hilton. The NYPD also says they found a cell phone in an alley near the hotel.
Okay, next is the cell phone. Okay, look at the distance, all right? I showed you where the water bottle and the Kind Bar wrapper was placed, okay? Now, the cell phone. Where's the video footage for the cell phone? Okay, that's the next piece. And it just so happened that there is fingerprints on the cell phone. And again, the suspect knows he's committing a crime. And he purposely leaves these items. But he also knew he was going to get away. This is why this whole case doesn't make sense. Right? You planned the ultimate escape, yet you left the Easter eggs strategically in specific places that you knew they would find it. This is New York. You know how many burner phones have probably been tossed around? I'm surprised they didn't find anything else during this actual Easter egg hunt. Okay? You have him on the phone. They have a video of him on the phone walking. But they somehow knew where he actually left it. It doesn't make sense for him to leave any of this evidence. It just doesn't. It's too easy. It's too easy. Even an amateur wouldn't have done it. And this shooter is not an amateur.
With a fingerprint that also matches, but evidence still has to be processed.
This is an ongoing investigation.
Evidence still has to be processed. And you guys, that's what's going to be examined. How was the evidence obtained? Where was it obtained? How was it processed? Here's the problem that you have. The water bottle, the candy wrapper, the Kind Bar, and the cell phone. They're not at the scene of the crime. So as of now, what's linking him to the actual crime is the gun that he has in his possession and allegedly the shell casing, which I don't know how they're going to match that. Okay? What do we have? We have him in the city, in the vicinity, but you don't have him as the shooter, in my opinion. What do you have? We don't know until his attorney gets the evidence and starts to challenge the evidence. Will we start seeing the accuracy and the flaws of it? You have a phone several blocks away. You have a bottle in a wrapper several blocks away. You don't have his fingerprint at the crime scene. Okay? You have a mysterious person at the crime scene committing the act. And then what else do you have? You have the suspect leaving shell casings on purpose with markings on them. You have the spent shell casings from when he actually shot the victim. And that's it. And you have the video of the back view of his body, and you have him walking off. At any point in time they lose video contact of him, you guys, that's going to be challenged. If they don't have a consistent view of him with these cameras, that's going to be challenged. Prove to me that my client wasn't set up, because I can prove to you that this looks like it's somebody else who did it and then framed my client. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know, this is why attorneys get paid the big bucks. Call me on the case. All right, I'm gonna dive through this evidence. I'm gonna dive through this police procedure. So, you know, but these are the things that we look at. But there's something more to this case too that we need to discuss. Check this out. But guess what? There's no cameras seeing his actual face. Have you noticed that? They haven't presented any cameras where we get a front view of him. It just so happened that all the views we have of the back of his head, every camera, you mean to tell me all the sophisticated, let me just say this. Okay? Because again, you guys, you're dealing with an investigator. You mean to tell me every single camera that you guys have, your massive, sophisticated camera network that rivals the camera setups that they have in DC, you mean to tell me that all the angles you have, none of them catch his face? And these cameras are specifically designed for facial recognition. That's what they're designed for. They're there to track you. And you mean you guys haven't released any to us? All we get is the back of his head and his back. Even the camera of him riding the bike, riding off into the sunset, they don't have anything zooming in on his face. You guys, you mean he just so happened to know what direction to walk in to where the cameras don't catch his face? Right? But the picture they give us of him, right, at the taxi cab, remember that photo? Look at these eyebrows. This brother, like he just got them waxed, okay? Look like someone just did the laser joint. They got the little, what do you call that thing, ladies, when they got the little, what do you call that? They got the rope and they just start swinging the stuff across your eye, lining you up. Look how sharp his eyebrows are. It's like he just got them done. This looks cosmetically done, you guys. It looks like someone actually did this, right? This looks like someone put them on. And look how clean it is in between. And then you see Luigi just a couple days later, the brother grew the whole he got the whole unibrow action going on. This guy looks like he had a Brazilian wax on his face. Look how perfectly aligned it is. You guys, that's why in my first video I said, hey, this guy looks like he's definitely European or Middle Eastern. You know, look how clean. It's almost, he got up and brushed them that morning. You guys, it looks like it's cosmetically done. Looks like someone actually put that face on. Look at the depth of the nose, the ridge. Look how strong it is up in this area here. Look at the separation of the eyebrows, the gap between the two. Okay, I'm just saying, he looks real clean. He looks real clean. So again, they're showing us what they want us to see in this case. They're telling us what they want us to know in this case. The media is right behind them. No one is talking about what they should be talking about, like the corruption behind United Healthcare, right? The denied claims, how they cleared $8 billion in a quarter. Jesus Christ. How they paid a man $10 million a year, yet people are suffering behind their fraudulent and criminal practices. One could say you've killed thousands with the stroke of a pen. Listen, you know, I think Denzel said it best, you guys, and he said the media, man, is so dangerous, how powerful they are, especially in this country, okay? Especially in this country. What did he say? He said, listen, if you watch the news, you're misinformed. If you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. We are in a very dangerous time where you can't rely on the information that's being provided. I listen to the news to find out what's going on, and then I go and do my own research. Oh, there's drones taking over the airspaces. Oh, are they really? Okay, let me look into it. Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna do my own. I don't take nothing that they say for face value. Nothing that they say. It's a disgusting, wicked group of people, man, who run the media in this country. All right. Let's get back to the video real quick so we can close this out on the evidence. Just again, walking through what we saw earlier. What are we looking at? Is this someone who's sloppy? The way they described it was that he just dropped and, fumbled and got stuff all over the place. He put it there. And all the cameras, we only get the back view. And someone so intelligent, right? This setup, he has a book bag. He could have just put it in this book bag. But you know what people aren't talking about? They're not talking about the monopoly money. Does anybody wonder why? They're not talking about the monopoly money. Why is that?